Hey, what's up everybody? This is Gray Man here. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully well. Some of you folks might have saw me on Northern Girl Hobbies channel earlier, well, probably like 10 minutes ago, wishing her a happy birthday on her live stream. It was awesome. A lot of great folks in chat. So a little bit of a late start to get this video put out, but a lot of you folks have asked me via email. Also, in regards to stuff in chat, you know, that you guys want to know some of the books that I would recommend, some of the books that I have. It's going to be almost impossible for me to pull my entire library off the shelves, but I do have a stack of books here that I'm going to share with you, and some of the reasons why. Like I said, this might not be the most intriguing, dramatic, cinematic video of all, but here's how we can look at it. Books in general are very important to me personally in regards to being prepared. And the reason I say this is because if we were to have a grid down situation, or let's say a full-on shift event, or even for that matter a power outage that lasts weeks, or you're in a hurricane situation, we've talked about this many times, whereas, you know, I think Jeff, and depending on what county you're in, there's certain circumstances that prevail when emergency services can be provided during a storm. Now, I think it's either 35 to 45 mile an hour. The winds have to die down to that after the storm passes. And I'm going to use this for an example. I like to use this for an example to show you how important certain things can be. That being said, you know, you have a situation where, you know, your window gets broken, you know, the wood or whatever, your shutters get broken, gets torn off, or you get a tree that falls on your house. You hurt your leg, you get glass, you know, you get cuts, abrasions, or something even worse. And some people don't know things that they can have or use when it comes to something like that. Now, I could go deeper into that, but I don't want to give too much medical advice on YouTube. They don't like that kind of stuff like that. That's kind of why I haven't done a lot of the Medical Mondays. It just concerned me because I don't want anybody to ever hurt themselves or take something that I say on YouTube and apply it without actually getting trained, per se. But using these books can help you with certain things, from everything from wild edibles and medicinal plants to cooking to you know, medical advice and diagrams. What else do I have here? Just different survival techniques, from survival shelters to primitive fire starting to all kinds of different things. Now, I don't know if I'm going to have enough time to put all the links to all these books down in the comments below, or the description of the video below, but I will try to list some of them. What you can do, let's say, you know, because they're going to be all Amazon affiliate links. Of course, if you click on that link and you happen to purchase this book, it does support the channel. I want to be upfront about that, as most content creators are. But you don't even have to buy these books from Amazon if you don't want to. You can click on the link and look up the book, read a little bit about it in more detail than what I'm going into, and take the ISBN number and either write it down or copy and paste into a notepad or whatever works best for you, and go check some of your local bookstores. Go check some of your you know, used bookstores. You know, you have the ISBN number. They might, because ISBN numbers are on the back of the book. I'll use this one for an example. Let me just grab one of these books here, and see if I can get this to focus on the camera. And most of you guys probably know this, but you see how it says ISBN number? So that number is the way that they find how to track books. So a lot of let me let that focus back in. A lot of companies use ISBN numbers to see in their inventory, okay, I had this book, I had this many on hand, and it gives information about that book. Now, I'm no librarian, so, you know, this is just my take on the ISBN number. But if you go to click on the link that I put down below, at least it'll give you the information, the ISBN number, and you can write that information down or put it in your list for something to look at later. So you have the option to either purchase it via Amazon or go somewhere and look for a cheaper option if there is available. You can also check thrift stores and stuff like that. They don't have probably that same kind of concept with the ISBN number, but just to kind of give you guys a general idea how books and having something tangible in your hand to look up information is very, very, very important, at least, again, from my perspective. So let me go over a few of these books and not try to make this video an hour long. And some of these books, some people may or may not agree with. You know, we all have our opinions on what we can use, but these are some of the books that I've collected over the years and have helped me out learning certain things. Some of them might be a little bit more redundant, but some of them also have some interesting ideas on preparedness and other concepts that you can use to kind of what's the word I'm looking for is, build upon. So, and I don't suggest, like let's say this book here that I'm going to go over, this one here, Emergency War Surgery. This is, when you read some of the material in that book, there's things in there that you may not be able to do or might not have the proper equipment to do some of these procedures. And I don't suggest you go out there and do them, but at least learn them and have some sort of basic knowledge of some of these procedures, and then you can build upon that. So when you're building, let's say, a medical bag, like the big medical bag that I did a review on a while back, I'll probably put a link right here if you want to see that video. That's something I've been working on for some time. It's still not even done. I'm still building that out and working on that. It's kind of like a hospital in a bag kind of thing like that. There's all different terms for it, but that's why I'm going to call it as a hospital in a bag. And let's say you do have a mag, or you have a group of people, or whatever the situation may be, and you have some of this equipment that you have purchased and put into this bag for emergencies. Someone else that's either friends, family, or mutual assistant group, or whatever your neighbor, maybe a doctor, a nurse, an EMT, a firefighter, or something like that, and they may not have all this equipment, or it might be beneficial that you have it, and then they can use that to possibly save your life or someone else's life or something like that, if that makes sense to you, if you kind of get where I'm going with that when it comes to the medical stuff. All right, so some of these books, some of these books are old and ancient. So let me just start going over a few of them. And this is kind of a mainstream book here. The first one I was showing you, and this is this book here, Complete Survival Manual. This is from the National Geographic. It says expert tips from your world-renowned organization, survival stories from National Geographic explorers. A lot of the things that you see on their channel. How to navigate by the sun, find water, build a fire without matches, signal for help. All right. It has a lot of different information here that you can find, and I'm trying to find certain things that that would be essential to you. But some of the things that you find here, I'm going to use this page for it because I had this kind of marked here. Let me see if I'm going to see if I can get this camera to work with me. Oops, I just lost one of my place cards. Let me see here. See where it says basic calorie requirements, and it says cold weather. So it kind of gives you down here. Let me see if I can move my fingers a bit right down here. Come on. I'm kind of running on the gun with this one, so I do apologize if it doesn't give me what I need. But it gives you high calorie foods and kind of gives you some basic information. And then, of course, she says where it sees plants, best bet plants, and avoid these plants, kind of thing like that. So a lot of different information in here that you can use. And you see me looking that way because I got a weird color on my camera. My apologies. And I should cut stuff like that out, but I'm gonna go like that. But it has some quick read lists in here, just a little basic information that you can use. Now this is more of a mainstream book that you can find pretty much anywhere. You can find a lot of these books in a lot of used bookstores as well, and get them for a really low price. But again, like I said, we're going to run with it and at least kind of give you the information, and hopefully that you can build off that. I'm going to drop these books down. Now, these books I've went over many, many, many times. These are two great books, and then I'm going to go, since I'm leading into that book, let me kind of grab the other book that I want to add to this. Let me get these books together. I should have done this prior to that. Let me move this over. And like, great, just cut that out. We don't want to see you messing with all these different books. So, a lot of people are familiar with these books here. These two books, me and Mark from Rolling Homes had talked about these books. This is the, let me see if I can get that right. These are the Peterson field guides. This is one for medicinal plants and herbs, and one is edible wild plants. Now, if you look, it says Eastern Central North America on both. Both say Eastern Central. The reason that you want to choose the books and make sure that you get these books, you get the books that are in your area, because there's, what about if you live in the Western, Central North America, or you live in somewhere else? So make sure that the books that you get are pertain to what area that you're in, if that makes sense, right? Because you don't want to get a book that's features the Eastern Central North America, and you live somewhere else where it doesn't pertain to you, and the plants may be different or may not grow in your area. So when it comes to like certain books like that, of course you want to look beyond that and find the books that that are more generalized to where you're at. Another good one, and that I really enjoy, is this one here. And this one's Backyard Medicine. Harvest and make your own herbal remedies. I love this book. It has so many different things in there, and the reason I got this one is because it's goes into a little bit more detail than some of the other books that I have in regards to backyard medicine and stuff like that. And what I liked about it is, I'm trying to see if I don't have my thing in here, but I'm trying to find something that you guys would be familiar with to make it easier to kind of describe what I'm trying to say. So this one is a very popular one that people talk about in chat, is mallow. Come on, you can focus. Mallow is a big thing. Like I said, it is a common plant that some people use for medicinal purposes. I love the bright colors that it uses, and it also uses, you know, this is the bright color here, and then it kind of gives you an idea what the plant looks like, as well as the leaves and stuff like that. But it goes into deeper because it tells you, you know, how to harvest them and how to make your own herbal remedies out of this stuff. You know, because some people may not know how to use and turn things into tinctures and whatnot, or salves, or so on and so forth, if you kind of get what I mean. So another great book, full of great information. And like I said, you don't have to purchase all these books at one time. I haven't. I've bought these books over years and years and years and added them to my prepper library. So very good book. Something that I would recommend. And it has about 120 herbal remedies in this book itself. So I'm going to have to put all these books back on my shelf in order because I try to keep it somewhat organized. Pardon me. So this one I talked about a while back because I live in Florida, and a lot of you folks know this, and Florida is a big area with a lot of different things. So outside of just getting some of the medicinal and edible plants and stuff like that that are, you know, in the eastern central region, I wanted something specifically geared to my state. Now, if you have the opportunity, try to find this. Now, for you Floridians that happen to watch this channel, this might be a book for you because it deals specifically for Florida edible wild plants. This is it here. This says Florida's Edible Wild Plants, a guide to collecting and cooking, which I thought was really nice. And the author is Peggy Lance. Another great book. This book has showed me so many things that I didn't even know in Florida. And again, you have some great information in these books. They're, you know, color photos, and it kind of gives you more descriptions on, you know, on this side here. Just some really good stuff. There's plants that I didn't even know that I could find in my area that I thought was beneficial. And you know, a lot of people know about sea grapes, and we have muscadine and various other plants in here, heart of palm, a lot of different things that you can use in a worst case scenario for self-sustainability in regards to food and other options, because you want to be diverse. You know, I had a conversation the other night, I think it was with North Shore, and I've had conversations like this with other folks, is you want to diversify the foods that you're consuming, be it your garden, be it, you know, wild edibles, be it your freeze-dried foods, be it your canned goods, be it your pastas, rices, and beans, and all the other stuff that you have for long-term storage, and all that stuff like that. You want to have a diversity so that you don't experience food fatigue. And if you guys get a chance, try something like what I did with Nutrient Survival, that 14-day challenge. That was intriguing because all I ate was survival food for the first 7 days, and of course then I incorporated stuff from my garden in regards to that. But you do get a bit of food fatigue. No matter how nutritious they may seem, your body still wants other nutrients and other different things that are associated with that, like some fresh veggies or fruits or some sugars. Like, you know, you guys know I'll grab this one here. You know, I'm a fan of honey. This one I keep on my desk because my daughter's always trying to steal it from me because it has a honeycomb in there. That's another story. Let me see here. So let's kind of move on to first aid. I kind of want to move over to those books and make sure I got all my books here situated. And some of these books are going to be fun. I just got some of these books from like I said, what was it? What do they call it? It's a used place. It's not a used bookstore, but it is a thrift store, and I don't remember the name of the thrift store, but it's here locally. So, but you guys know where to find thrift stores in your area. Whoops. Of course, I'm just going to smack my mic and make all kinds of crazy noise on this. But, hey, it is what it is, right, folks? We're just trying to run with it. So, the first one I showed you earlier was this one here, okay? Now, this book is a little bit more, I guess, for the intermediate, because let me see if I can pull something out from you. It goes into a lot of details about specific parts of the human body. It has a little bit more of a technical terms in here. And there's some other books out there that are a lot more beneficial, but this works for me because it goes a lot deeper into some of the things that I'm looking for, you know, in regards to certain ailments and certain things that may happen to you, certain ways to do certain type of procedures. You know, I don't want to kind of go into the procedures too much, but you know, if you have some sort of serious issues, you know, like face and neck injuries and things that are life-threatening. But then it also goes over some basic stuff like that. But this is, like I said, if you read it, it says right here on it, it says the Survivalist Medical Desk Reference. This is a reference book to kind of like, if you're in a situation, kind of gives you ideas, and it goes through critical care, triage, you know, things that happen if you get hit by a firearm, you know. It even goes into parachute injuries, shock, you know, fractures, amputations, biological, chemical, and all that stuff like that. It makes a great reference. And I also have, and I don't feel like pulling that out, but the physician's desk reference helps me as well. Also, I have it's called the pill identifier, which is a pill identification Bible, which it goes through all the different kinds of medication. Because let's say you're in a scenario where you're kind of like foraging, you know, going through, you know, full-on shift, you know, where you're searching for medications, and you come across pill bottles and pill bottles and pill bottles. If you're going through looking for medications, you have no idea what they are. They just have a number on it and an imprint, and you're like, okay, what is this? What does it do? It may be missing the label. Who knows what? So with that pill identifier, you can look that up. It has color pictures. I just don't. I have enough books on my desk. I don't want to grab it. But there's a lot of different things that you can use to do this. You know, a lot of people use it on their phone, and that's the problem is if there's a grid down situation, or you know, your phone is dead, or you don't have access to the internet, these reference materials would be extremely helpful. Having something tangible in your hand to look through is huge. And a lot of people these day and age, you know, and I'm not saying you, the subscribers, but a lot of the younger generation as well, do not read books. A lot of people, even myself, I'm guilty of this. I love listening to audiobooks, but when it comes to certain aspects of things, having something that you can reference, that you can read, that you can highlight, that you can take notes, all that stuff like that is extremely important to have, and so on and so forth. So let's go and move on. I thought this was a really good book. This is what nurses use. It's called the NCLEX. It's you know, nurses take this test to become certified, you know, to get their nursing license. But this is a vocabulary and medications flashcard. It just goes over a lot of information that nurses need. I don't know what I just did, but I clicked something with my keyboard. But it kind of gives you definitions, side effects of medications, different types of vocabulary when it comes to certain stuff. For me, it works well, you know, I mean, because of my background. But it kind of gives you a little bit more advice on when it regards to certain things and topics. You know, like it'll have a generic and a brand name of a, you know, specific medication on here. I don't know if it's going to focus on that. It gives you the generic name, the brand name, the classification, and all that stuff like that. And then it tells you the side effects, you know, nursing implications and precautions. So, like I said, a lot of this stuff has beneficial information on there. I'm a huge reader, and I'm deep into books. So that's just me. I liked buying books and having them. I like having a huge reference of material that I can go on all different types of subjects. Another great book, and this is just for you, some of your basic first aid. Basic first aid is huge, and if you ever get a chance, take a Stop the Bleed class, take a general first aid class, talk to your local colleges, fire departments, EMTs, what is it, the Red Cross, and some other places might have some of these classes for free. They have some of them online that you can participate on Zoom that are free. So while everything is normal, or not normal, but semi-normal, right? Try to get some of this information. Try to get taught and learn some of this information beyond just having the book, because then the book will just be a backup to you, because we can't remember everything. We can retain a lot of information, but we can't retain every single detail about every single thing, especially when it comes to the medical side of things. But this one here is this book here. This is American College of Emergency Physicians, 5th edition, First Aid Manual, the step-by-step guide for everyone. And this is more of an entry-level book. Like I said, it says step-by-step. It's very, very aspect where it slowly goes through each individual process, slow to slow. This is like just specifics. It tells you how to, with pictures, head-to-toe examination, how to examine someone, especially if they're unconscious and stuff like that, and it kind of breaks everything down for you. And it kind of gives you at least a basic understanding of what to look for and a generalized idea of, you know, what things could lead to what, and what you may need to do to resolve those issues. So again, another great book. Let me see. I got several more, folks. I'm trying to get into, and a lot of people have come across this book. This one is there's the SAS books. I got the Urban Survivalist Handbook of the SAS Urban Survival, which is very similar to the other one, a lot of similar information, but this caters more towards an urban environment. A lot of folks do live in urban environments outside of rural areas, and I just thought it was a great book to have in my arsenal. But right there says the SAS Urban Survival Handbook, how to protect yourself against terrorism, natural disasters, fires, home invasions, and everyday health and safety hazards. And like I said, man, the information is so awesome in this book, you know what I mean? And it kind of breaks things with color codes here, where you can see where it's warning, weapons, personal alarms, and it kind of goes into different things. The main thing here that I like to say here, this is huge. Right here, let me get my finger here. Staying calm. Staying calm in any situation is super important. I know it's hard, but staying calm is by far one of the best things that you can do in any survival situation. If you were to get lost in the woods, stay calm, collect your thoughts and stuff like that before you proceed, because when people are either upset or emotional, they'll make decisions that can lead them into a worse situation. So you want to kind of like take a minute, collect your thoughts, think before you proceed on anything, be it if it's something that's medical, something if you're lost in the woods, if you're struggling making a fire, take a break for a second. I know, and sometimes you're like, well, I need to make this fire now. Just take a minute, breathe, reassess, because your adrenaline's pumping, you got all these things running through your head. Take a moment, try to decompress for a second, and then go back at it. You know what I mean? Because the last thing you want to do is keep on trying something, or let's say you're having matches and it's windy, and you're just not thinking of it, and you're just doing something, and you run out of matches or whatever, and that's all you had to start that fire. So try to think clearly before you even attempt certain situations. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I need to make a fire. This is the situation. The wind is coming from this direction, so I need to move over here. I need to have my tinder bundle. I need to have my firewood already. I need to have my bird's nest. I need to have all my materials that I need to start this fire, and be aware of your environment, be it trees above you, the ground clutter, the wind direction, the moisture, and stuff like that. So hopefully that'll kind of give you the idea where I'm leading in with this. But like I said, another great book. I'm going to have a pile of books down here, like a mountain of books I got to pick up. So not only do you need just books on, let's say, survival preparedness and medical stuff, and first aid and so on and so forth, but simple books like this. And this is one of the books that I found at the thrift store, and I will put it down there below. I don't know if you can still buy this book on Amazon. I'll see if I can find it. But it says this is the Ladies' Home Journal, but anybody, be it someone young, old, a male or female, this will work for anybody in the aspect of things that you can do. And I've learned that this thing has some great information in it, and you'd be surprised what it has in it, man. It's just even household pests, you know what I mean? And I'm going to give you the name of this book, but it just tells you about stuff, you know what I mean? Stuff, right? We all need to know stuff. But this is the name of the book here, the Ladies' Home Journal, Fix It Handbook. Everything you need to know to do it yourself. And like I said, it goes over repairs, refinishing, painting, flooring, tools, paneling, plumbing, windows, reupholstering, and a lot more. And a lot more information. I've even read this book. I've been sharing it with Lady Gray. It just tells you how how doorknobs work, how to reinforce doors and safety issues. Just a lot of great little interesting tidbits that I didn't know that was in this book until I picked it up, thumbed through it at the thrift store, and I said, this is a great book. I think we paid a couple books for this thing, and like I said, man, woman, child, whoever you are, all this stuff will come in handy. Don't be deterred by what the title says. If it says man or women or whatever it may say on there, thumb through it and see if it's going to pertain to some of your situations that may be beneficial to you. This kind of goes hand in hand with, like I said, books about plumbing, books about welding, books about fabrication, books about the alloys of metal. There's so many different books about different things. So don't just focus your mindset on, I just need books about how to survive in the woods, which are great. Those are great books. How to survive in this, how to survive in that. But you also need books, how-to books on just specific stuff, how to do small repairs, be it small engines. A lot of people say, well, I have a generator. Well, do you know how to repair that generator? Do you have parts for that generator? And so on and so forth. So think beyond that. You have to open up your mind and think, okay, well, if I didn't have access to this, or I can't call a person who's like, hey, the water heater has a leak in there, I don't know what to do, can you come and fix it? Or, the toilet's back, whatever that situation may be. If you learn some of these techniques, it's going to save you money. You figure, I just paid $20 for a book. But it'll probably save you money because you might be able to advert, or did I say that properly? But you might be able to circumvent having to call someone to come to your house, pay them a service fee, and then pay for the repairs. You may be able to pick up the materials and do this yourself. And practice, you know what I mean? Look at some of these ideas in these books and practice them. Don't just read the books. Don't, take notes, put some markers in there, things that might be more important to you than other things in the book. But just, and when you get a chance, go buy a couple pieces of pipe or something like that, or whatever, or drill a hole in something and something that can resemble, do some experiments and see how the information in the book can relate to what you're trying to do. All right, so this one here, everybody should have this book, and I feel like everybody should have this book. And I should have touched this on when I was talking about the medicinal stuff or the medical stuff. But this book, I think so many people in the preparedness community have this book, and there's a reason why. Because it has extremely valuable information in it. It was under my other book, so I didn't get to throw it in there when I was talking about medical stuff. But this book is a phenomenal book. Look at the reviews of this book. It has so much great information in here. And Joseph Alton is a great doctor with a lot of great information. Again, it just goes through so many different things in here. And, something that we saw out west, out in the, California and stuff, all the wildfires out there. If you look real close, I'm going to try to get that close to the camera. This is Wildfire Safety. These are books I feel that some people should have, that were in that situation in wildfire preparedness. It kind of goes over things that people could use and learn who were in those situations before that situation even became a situation. I'm getting a little bit redundant here, Gray. But you kind of get what I'm saying. If you learn, you read, and educate yourself when the situation comes to your door, you're a bit more prepared versus someone who doesn't have this type of book, who doesn't have this material, and has no idea what to do in a situation. They freak out, they panic, and they make bad decisions, like I said before. So when you have information and you are prepared, that's going to give you a sense of calm into the aspect of, okay, well, I've read this, I've taken notes on this, I've looked around my house, these are some of the things I need to get ready for during the wildfire season, and I'm ready. That's going to give you a little bit of peace of mind to say that, okay, if it happens, at least I know what to do, and so on and so forth, if that makes sense to you folks out there. So hopefully, like I said, I know this is a lot of books to go over, but I feel it's pertinent to the preparedness community. And then, if you know someone, maybe another family member, someone who's thinking about, being a, not necessarily a prepper, but just being prepared in general for natural disasters or any situation, maybe this would make a good gift. Send them a gift that, if you have it and you've read it and you think this is great, buy this, send it to someone, and you might find it valuable. Tell them to take a look at this book and why. Give them reasons why this book may be important to them, or any book that you happen to send them. The gift of books is I feel like that's like gone now. Everybody just wants to send them ebooks or stuff like that. I rather, if anybody was to send me material, I don't want an ebook. I want a tangible book that I can hold and read. Let's say you're in a hurricane, right? And I ran out of water because I was drinking all my water in Northern Girl's video. So I do apologize for me coughing. But, you're in a hurricane, you're sitting there by candlelight or a lantern, or maybe you have a generator, whatever the case may be. Pick up this book and just do some reading then, you know what I mean? It's just nice to keep your mind occupied. So, like I said, books can just come in so handy for learning and for being prepared, and also occupying the mind in certain situations, you know what I mean? It's always good. Now, one of my, this is a new book. A lot of you guys who probably know who Joshua Enyart is, okay? You probably know who Dave Canterbury is. They do the Pathfinder course, which CFP, he just went through that, and he met some of those folks out there. So Joshua Enyart is the gray-bearded Green Beret. He wrote a book just recently, and here it is. And it's called Surviving the Wild, Essential Bushcraft First Aid Skills for Surviving the Great Outdoors. And like I said, it's by Joshua Enyart, and the foreword is by Dave Canterbury. If you guys remember Dave Canterbury and Cody Lundeen, they did the Dual Survival. I binge watch a lot of the stuff because you learn from it. You learn they were put into specific situations, and they had only certain things with them that they could use, and they made the best that they could with it. Even they're survival experts, and they still ran into situations that they were unfamiliar with. When you take Cody and put him in an Alaskan frontier situation versus he is a desert dweller, and those desert survival things, it kind of switches things up. So it was really cool show. I don't think it's on anymore, but anyways, this is another great book, like I said, and this is by Joshua Enyart, Surviving the Wild. He does have a YouTube channel called The Gray Bearded Green Beret if you want to check that out as well. And I'm going to take a moment and mute the Discord. I always forget to do that before I start that now because it's on my computer. I just keep on hearing it going bleep bleep in my ear. All right, another book, someone that I had on the channel. A lot of you guys know who Dr. Arthur Bradley is, a CME and EMP expert that I did an interview with, but he had wrote a national bestseller book, and this is it here. Don't mind my bookmarks. But it says the Handbook to Practical Disaster Preparedness for the Family. This is a 3rd edition. It covers all basic 14 needs: food, water, shelter, light, electrical power, heating, cooling, air, sleep, hygiene, sanitation, medical first aid, communication, financial preparedness, which some people forget about, transportation, and protection. Solid book. As you can see, I've got several markers in there. I've been reading through this, and sometimes I'll like little notes. I have all kinds of stuff laying around my office. But again, another great book. And again, you don't have to buy all these books. Maybe one book is just enough for you, but the more books that you have with the more different points of opinions and views and ideas makes you more of a well-rounded someone who's more well-rounded for preparedness and for any situation that happens to arrive. And there goes the dogs. I guess this video is going to be filled with all kinds of special effects with dogs barking in the background and Discord beeping and stuff like that. I do apologize for that. Not the most professional, but I guess it is what it is sometimes. Alright, so these are some of the books that Lady Gray has got me, and I'm going to show you the price tags on me. I don't know if you guys have an Ollie's outlet there with you, but I found some of these books there, and they're really cool books. They have some different takes on a lot of different things, which I really enjoyed. But here's one right here. Let me see if that'll focus. Outdoor Life, How to Survive Anything from Animal Attacks to the End of the World. Let me move my hand from there. That kind of gives you Tim's name and the editors of Outdoor Life. Again, this book is filled with a lot of great information. And if you like firearms and stuff like that, it goes through some of that stuff like that, home defense shotguns and stuff like that. But don't play possum during a home invasion, as you see right here, or where am I at on this side. But yeah, great information. Another great book. And the reason I got so many of these books is because they all have different types of material in it. This book is another book that I found over there at Ollie's, and you can see I got it for $7.99. I don't know if it'll focus on the price. This is the Emergency Survival Manual, 294 Life-Saving Skills, Assess, Respond, and Protect. Great stuff in this book as well. You can see the back of it too. When disaster strikes, what do you do? And you can see some of the things that kind of goes over there. So another great book. And you can see this book normally cost $29, and I got it for $7.99. We're almost done. I only got 3 books left, folks. I do appreciate all you guys that have hung to the end of this. I know it's kind of a longer video. I've been watching the time go down there. We're at 33 minutes already. All right, so this is another book by this is a book by Field and Stream. A lot of you guys remember the magazine Field and Stream. I know as a kid growing up, I used to read them. I used to be an avid fisherman. Reading all these books as a kid. Catching bluegills and crappie and walleye and smallmouth bass, largemouth bass, perch, pike, and all that fun stuff like that. Freshwater when I used to live in Michigan. But right here, this book here is the Total Outdoorsman Manual, 374 skills you need, and it kind of goes over camping, fishing, hunting, and survival. And on the back of it, I kind of give you an idea. I should have been doing this from the get-go. Let me see if I can make that up. But these are the must-have field manual, and like I said, it has to do with more of the hunting and fishing and stuff like that. Kind of give you an idea. I'll open that book up there for you, and I think that's a mallard duck or whatnot there. But it gives you a lot of great information again. And it talks about flight patterns and duck calls, and stuff like that. It also tells you how to cook some of these meals that you might be hunting for, be it duck or, other small game and stuff like that, or fish and whatnot, and large game. The funny one I'm going to say for last. This one is specifically, and these are all by Tim. This one here is How to Survive Off the Grid, from backyard homesteading, from backyard homesteads to bunkers and everything in between. This is another New York Times bestseller, and like I said, it says prepare for anything. And like I said, this is kind of geared to off-grid survival and stuff like that, and it kind of gives you those ideas in there, and kind of goes over a lot of different stuff in here. Let me see if I can find something that might be, you know, something that, yeah, here, like, you know, I was talking about the medical stuff, you know, here, this says be your own doctor. It goes over stuff like that. What else can we kind of pick up in here? Sorry, some of the things that make me laugh when I come across these, but here, this will help right here. So it says, it talks about crops and stuff, you know, how flax can be grown, and it kind of dives into different stuff like that. I'm trying to get that in there. And it gives you the crop, ideal climates, human food uses, and other uses, you know what I mean? So, like I said, so much great information in a lot of these books. Now, this last book, I got it just because of the name of the book, and then it turned out to be a really awesome book by another book by Field and Stream. And I got this one again at Ollie's. Some people might not know what Ollie's is. We all have like these discount stores around, but like I said, I will try to put a lot of this stuff down here. But this one is the Field Stream, the Total Redneck Manual. And again, it goes over hunting, fishing, guns, grub, and fun. And what I liked about this book, I wonder if I can find out there, because it goes deep into a lot of different parts about fishing. Some of you folks that might not be in there, but it kind of goes into there about certain types of, you know, you know, like, let's say Rapalas and jigs, and all kinds of stuff like that, you know what I mean? Let me see here if I can kind of skip over some of this other material. Talks about panfish. Let me see here. Let me kind of skip over this like that. You know, how to, you know, if you're in salt water, you know, how to surf cast like a cannon. I like the way they use it in the wording in here. It's pretty cool. And it kind of goes over a lot of stuff like that, man. So, like I said, I think it's pretty cool. and like I said, I love the title of this book. But like I said, it's so full of good information, and I'll show you the back of that book as well. Like I said, hunting, fishing, things like that. You can never just have too many books. At least from my perspective, that's how I look at it. You can never have too many books. I'm forever learning. I don't know everything, and I can't retain all of it. So my goal is by continuously reading, making notes, applying some of these skills out in the real world, and not just reading. So hopefully, you know, everybody that stuck through this video and went through these books with me, some of these books that you might find that you might be missing in your prepper library, excuse me, and you can find this information and use this material appropriately for whatever situation that's best for you. Like I said, you never know how it's going to pan out, but having this tangible material in your hands and be able to take notes. And again, I said, just don't buy the book and put it on a shelf. Make sure you read the book. Make sure you take notes. Make sure you try to apply these skills. Use them in the real world. Go out fishing with camping or whatever that may be, and take some of this stuff with you. Even take the book with you and kind of like, you know, go over that and say, okay, we're going to try this this chapter of this book, you know, on this trip or whatnot. So hopefully you found value in this. If you did, I could appreciate it if you do give me a thumbs up. And if you can, drop a comment below in some of the books that you may have in your library. I'd like to know what kind of books you have. If you want to share that information, because if there's books that I'm intrigued by, I might have to look and do some research myself and pick those books up, because the community, probably has a lot of books out there that I am missing, that I may be missing. That's not all my books, folks. That's not all my books. That's just a couple stacks that I had here on my desk that I grabbed to kind of go over some of the stuff. Some are new, some are old. But you kind of get the gist of it, and how I think books are extremely important to the preparedness community. All right, so this is Gray Man. I'm out. I'll see you guys on a rebound. God bless, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night on Late Night with Gray at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Look forward to seeing you all there. Have a fantastic day.